Okay, I'm going to talk about something that is kind of sensitive on the YouTube. I'm not sure if this YouTube will be posted. It's about COVID, BA5. Recently, there's an outbreak of BA5 in some places, and according to some medical statistics, they have been hospitalizing people, and death is not sure yet. Um, but it seems to be more severe than BA1, 2, 3, 4. So sorry. It seems to be more severe than BA3, 4. BA1, 2 is alpha, beta, delta. So these are the ones that really kill quite a lot of people. As the one thing that you must understand about virus, regardless of whether this is a COVID virus or something else, something that is really important for you to bear in mind is that all virus works almost the same way. So what they do is, I will skip the part about spike protein and changing of the spike proteins. I assume you already know it. The virus has a purpose. The virus cannot think for itself, but the virus has a purpose to stay as long as possible, and the only way to do it is to coexist with the host. So when you hear the government saying that it's going to be an endemic, and they were advertising saying that coexisting with the host, so you have to get yourself vaccinated, forget about that. That's what all the virus do. Basically, is they want to coexist with the host. Endemic is going to come. If you want to eradicate the virus, it is possible in a close-up experimental area. But if you want to eradicate virus worldwide, it is still possible depending on how everyone would like to work together. But technically, I don't think it's possible in today's world because politicians are involved. As long as politicians are involved, vaccine will be involved. And when V is involved, then money is involved. When money is involved, then hopefully the endemic will come much later than it should. Now, BA5, I'm not saying that this is mechanically being engineered by the pharmaceutical companies. That's not what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is that the virus would like to coexist with the host, and without thinking, they will just mechanically reproduce themselves or changing the spike proteins. So sometimes spike protein 3, sometimes spike protein 508, 2006. So they change the spike protein to experiment and see whatever get them into the host and stay within the host the longest, which means the host will have to stay alive. Host is as we have to survive in order for the virus to coexist with us, and for them to reproduce, and for them to stay longer in the world. So they have descendants and descendants and descendants. I think somehow like a human as well, but without thinking, they just want to reproduce and stay the longest possible. So if you understand this concept, you will know that it is not the intention of the virus to kill the host. Do you get it? Once you get this point, then we can move on to the next point. The next point is, in order for them to stay the longest with the host, they would have to experiment with the spike protein. When I say experiment, that means they don't know the result of changing the spike protein, whether it works for them or not. That is the reason why we name them differently. Alpha, beta, delta, these are all the variants. The variants are the experimental result of the virus changing their own spike protein. Sometimes they become something more violent, so poisonous that they kill the host instantly. Sometimes they keep them in the hospital. Sometimes they do nothing to the host as well. That also depends on the immune system of the host. So there are two factors. Now I'm just talking about the perspective of the virus. So for BA5, it kind of become more violent than BA4. So more poisonous, and the host sometimes get hospitalized, sometimes die, but it is not the intention of the virus. And I believe in 2 to 3 months later, this variant should probably disappear or remain very minimum. So don't worry too much about that. The other thing that I want to talk about is something that maybe a lot of people don't like to hear about. Instead of relying on the V, maybe you should rely on some repurposed medications. Repurposed medication means the medication that has existed for decades or even centuries without a lot of side effect. Those are the ones that you should rely on, like ivermectin, hydrochloroquine. So these are the stuff that maybe you can rely on to save your life. If there's any outbreak of BA5 or 6 or 7, anything that becomes more virulence. But endemic is going to come anyway. The virus kind of get it. I know. They kind of get it. What is the best variants to survive in the world? Endemic is going to come. Why do I say repurposed medication? It means the old type of medicines, not the newly invented one. Why do I say that? Because they don't have enough data over a long period of time to prove that the medicine would not come with a side effect. Understand?